I had a blast. Yeah, I love a crowd because you can see it when you're doing the show. People can hear it going on outside, and we still had probably a few rows left, but by the end of the show, it was nothing but standing room only, and that's what I like. Yeah. So it's definitely a fun crowd, and as you can see, trying to get the chairs, they rush up there pretty quick. So as long as it's a happy audience that wants to be entertained, you're gonna have a good show.
Yeah. What are one of your favorite parts in this whole
Up here, my favorite part, skit-wise, has got to be the petting zoo where they go out there petting people, and then the little stripping bit at the end. I love that one. Honestly, for me, it's the true signs, because some people aren't as deep as others, but just because you're not as deep as someone else, you're still hypnotized. So you may have seen sometimes where people are like kind of iffy. Well, they're still hypnotized. They're just at a level, and that's why I do that counting down to deepen their level. But people are, it's like a roller coaster. It never gets steady. It's like a roller coaster. So when I see the great signs like a deep rim, or sometimes you'll get people that their eyes won't close, but their eyeball rolls all the way to the back of their head. So you just get white pupils. Those are probably my favorite things to see.
So what are some of the exercises that you do that get people to get deeper into sleep? Are there certain ones?
Basically, there's a lot of different methods. For example, deepening by realization, we actually do in a therapeutic setting, where we would pinch someone's hand and do a pain control. You're not feeling the pain, but you want to do it real good, and you can actually bring them to where they can see, hey, he's pinching me really good, and I can't feel anything. And then they just go deeper. It's realizing, wow, this is amazing, and then you just allow yourself to go even more. Deepening by counting, that's why I do the whole counting throughout the skit. Deepening but just by the sound, repetitive motion, the talking to the body, all these techniques help people lower throughout the show. Yeah. Okay,
well, honestly, I just need to know, how did you get started into this?
I actually got started because first job I've ever had was a magician. I've never done anything in my life but entertain. I started in high school, got into magic about 15. First job was being a tableside magician, performing at restaurants. Then from there, I heard from the magic club about magicians that would moonlight as hypnotists. So I started hanging out with the hypnotist, and they trained me a little bit from books and stuff. I became the high school hypnotist. So during the lunch hour, I'd do magic, steal watches from the principals and stuff. And then when it was a day where it was a dead day where you watch a movie in class, instead they just bring up chairs and let me do hypnosis.
That's awesome.
Because we had several of my friends and students that are really susceptible to hypnosis.
Yeah.
And that's all we would do is just hypnosis shows in class. And I didn't have a show, I just knew what to do. And I would just throw, you just became the Pink Power Ranger, things like I didn't know what to do. So I did a few professional shows that were so-so. I figured I need a better background. That's where I trained and became a certified hypnotherapist to help people stop smoking. I had an office for that while. I've trained in Vegas, I've trained all over the country for the stage stuff. So I went and got a good education on how to do. Because when you get in these settings, for me, the most important thing is safety first. They're having fun. I'm being entertained by them. They're being entertained. The last thing I want to do is ever see somebody get hurt or experience something bad up here on stage.
Right. Well, have you ever been hypnotized?
Oh, lots.
Yeah?
Tons.
Give me one time.
Oh, I mean, my stage, when we were training in Vegas, I was actually pulled up in several shows because I'm pretty susceptible to hypnosis. And then on top of that, when we train, we would partner off with different hypnotists and we would practice all the different inductions, falling induction, standing induction, nonverbal induction. But we would practice all these things on each other. And actually, we learned how to self-hypnotize too, which is something some of us do, but it's actually really easy to do. It's basically just like meditating, but the only difference is you give yourself suggestions. And you can help yourself do a lot of things. I used it in school a lot to help me study for gen eds that I didn't really care about. So I would hypnotize myself for better memory recall, and it helped out a lot.
I might have to use that.
Yeah. Oh, I give myself allergy injections, and in college I hypnotized myself. Not that they hurt, but just to experiment that they wouldn't be painful. And yeah, it's never had a problem with them ever. It's little things. You can't give yourself a command.
Yeah.
You can't say you will be super strong. It doesn't work like that. You can give yourself urges. You can give yourself desires, because it's still up to the brain. So you'll have a desire to study harder tomorrow. You have a desire to not procrastinate and pull out your homework. And that is what you would say to yourself in a self-hypnosis session.
Right. So how does it exactly feel? Is it more like a calming sensation? Or?
Well, the self-hypnosis, yes. The self-hypnosis, half the time you fall asleep. Because usually you do it in bed before you go to bed. I'd say towards the end, about 80% of the time I was falling asleep. But that's what you want to do. Basically, you get to the point where you find your brain has wandered and daydreamed. And that's where you're more into a subconscious state. The stage show Actually, it can vary between person. So someone mentioned the heart racing quicker, that's a sign, because people think that they just go to sleep and they forget everything. That's not the case. You actually experience what we call heightened awareness. The problem is the awareness is not specifically set on me. The heightened awareness is for things around them. So when I was under, and what a lot of people experience when they're really going to state, they're like, as I'm talking, putting them under, they're like, oh God, I feel like I need to move my hand. If I move my hand though, is that gonna bring me out of hypnosis? Oh, if my head just tilted, does that mean I'm hypnotized or not hypnotized? Oh man, those lights are really bright. Oh, I can hear the air conditioner kick. The thing is, people think because their mind is racing that they can't be hypnotized, but that's the opposite. It's actually that it's freed their conscious brain to focus on surrounding activity. The whole time I'm talking, the subconscious is still focused. Subconscious is the computer of our mind. Yeah.
Have you ever gotten like a response of someone saying like, oh, I've been doing this for 2 weeks, I still call my friends like something else or something like that?
No. All suggestions wear out pretty well.
Okay.
The only positive suggestions will last forever. Like you may have noticed, I did the thing every time you see or think of the color red, it's going to increase your desire to be a more happy, competent person. Right. That will last forever. Okay. Nothing could ever knock that out because there's no negative. And it's also something they'll never remember, which is what I want. I want it to be planted in the subconscious where they never think about it again. But it makes a more positive person. Yeah, and it does affect your life. It doesn't help, and that's why I love doing that one. Certain things, it's just like people, if I were to help someone quit smoking. Well, the hypnotherapist learned years ago, people would be like, oh, you're never going to smoke cigarettes again because they taste like dog crap. Well, little did they find out, a few months down the road, that person turns to start liking that taste of what he perceives to be dog crap. Because you didn't help them, you merely changed it, and the brain will eventually compensate. Whereas if you do positive suggestions, like find out why someone truly wants to quit smoking. Is it because someone in the family had cancer? Or is it because you have kids that are starting to act after you? Is it because you just bought this brand new couch and it's leather and you don't want it to smell terrible? Things like that. Yeah, and so you have to find the reason, and that you can do reinforcement of what we call positive suggestions.
Okay. Yeah. Would you prefer, if you could, would you prefer doing like more stage hypnotism or more like self-helping?
Oh,
like
stage. I did the therapeutic stuff for a while.
Yeah.
And I loved it, and I still can do it. I still help out family members and stuff. The only problem is it's tedious. I mean, the person's in the chair, their eyes are closed, they don't react, they don't do anything. You're just sitting there and breaking down your information and trying to discover what is the best way to help this person. It's great getting to help somebody, but at the same time, I was always a professional entertainer that tried to go therapeutic, and it was like a fish out of water. So I belong on stage. I like being on stage.
Would you ever like teach others how to do hypnotism?
Yeah, I've helped out friends. I've helped out other magicians that were wanting to get into it. I think that if someone's going to do this, though, unless they're hanging around and really, really training with me full time, which would be tough because I spend a lot of days on the road traveling, that they should go into an actual training. There's a lot of very good programs that train. If you're going to do it, a lot of training. It's not something, hypnotizing somebody or your friends and stuff like that, it's not something really you want to, you can do it because it's fun and it's good for people, but don't get ignorant with it, I guess I'd say. I mean, these people are putting their subconscious in your hands, they're letting you enjoy, both of you, this experience. Don't mistreat your volunteers. Yeah, that's why I'm always extremely careful about being safe on stage and stuff. And that's why I've tailored a lot of my skits so that it can be as considerate to them as possible. Right. Therapeutically, train well. Don't go to, I mean, there are some sleazy people out there too. Make sure probably, I would say, is guild certified, National Guild of Hypnotists. Make sure it's someone certified. It's the closest thing we have to a licensing bureau for what we do. Train hard. Care about what you're doing and care about the people you're trying to help. For the stage stuff, be respectful of your volunteers, very respectful. And most importantly, if you want to be good in a stage hypnosis show, it's about being a good stage performer. So you've got to be a good performer to pull that off. Anything else I'd like to add? Just that I had a blast out here at Townsend. Whether it was the stage show or even walking around meeting the students during the lunchtime hour, what I liked the most was some schools, you know, and especially with the big schools. Small schools are desperate for entertainment, but a big school, not always. But everybody I went up to today was, yes, I want to be entertained, yes. And sometimes you lose that in the big school, so I was really just happy being here.